So, I wanted to share with you a few thoughts I have when I'm working on someone's project. When I first start working on their project, what am I thinking? I can't show you any data because it's client cut, confidential. The first thing I'm thinking is what form is the data in? Is it in Excel? What is it in? Right? So like I'm working on something right now where the client sent me the files, two different sent the files in a long format. It wasn't a long format. It wasn't even in any type of format, actually. It was just the variable columns. And I know for a fact that they have two different populations. Okay. They have a pre population and a post population. So, two different ones. So, what I'm going to do is take two snapshots of the file and analyze it with two different um, versions of the file because one version, well, first of all, they don't all have the same, both files don't have the same variables in them. Okay. So it doesn't make sense to reconfigure the file so that I'm going to paraphrase what I mean. If I have two different things that are not identical, it doesn't make sense for me to design the file so that I have to keep in mind of what statistical method I'm running. So if I'm running, say, an independent t-test, right? Then it makes sense for me to ensure that there's a variable in there that will distinguish the different groups, if you will. So you could have the same variables in two different files, but have a key variable that distinguishes one file from another when you do the merge. So I'm thinking of stuff like that this morning. I'm also thinking I'm probably going to have two different versions of the file. It takes me a while to get my thoughts together. Two different versions of the file. One version will be for one type of analyses. The other version will be for another. And this is what separates you from, in general, as a statistics professional, the fact that you're able to reconfigure your files yourself. That's one of the things that separates a statistics professional from somebody who happened to take a Stats 101 course and they decide to try their hand at statistical analyses. You really need to know how to program. If you don't know how to program, I strongly suggest you get some sort of training in it or something. I don't know. I do train people, by the way. Um, yeah. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm looking at the file and I'm looking at the variables that the two files have in common, and I'm thinking about how I'm going to analyze it. And then after I do my preliminary analysis, I'll probably go back and look and see if there's anything else I could find. Um, Especially when you don't find statistical significance, maybe you want to give the client additional analyses just to support their paper. That's always nice to have just additional analyses, especially a lot of these people who are going for their doctorates plan on publishing their works. And you'd be surprised. It could be the most basic thing, but they want to get published. And so you have to keep that in mind when you do analyses, what you're going to give them, right? So trying to think, is there anything else that we think about while working. We think about it ending. That's what we think about. How long does it take me to do this and get this done? Because I have other things to do, like everybody else. Um, what else do I think about? I think about the write up. So I think about, now, mind you, I don't write papers for people, but I do think about the phrases I would like my client to use. I do think about, exactly what APA format sentences they need. If they're doing APA format, it could be a different type of format. What exactly would they appreciate? You have to become a teacher when you're explaining things. And if you don't love teaching, then if you don't love it, you're not going to be good at it. All right? An aside. And it's interesting when we look back at our the classes we had the most difficulty with, outside of statistics. And it's funny how we come away thinking that because I did poorly in a course, it was the course. It was me, not the course. It's not you sometimes. Sometimes it's the teacher. Sometimes the teacher doesn't want to teach you. They don't want to teach anybody. I don't know how they get people like that, but sometimes there are teachers that do not like teaching. And I actually had one day a professor tell me that this was after the class. He said, I don't like teaching, and I did very well in that course. I was very shocked. But then I look back at that course. The reason why I did well in the course is because I taught myself, right? I did additional work to make sure I understand the material. I think I've mentioned this in other videos. I had a journal, and I would go to the library, after the dining hall, whatever, with my journal, and I would decode these chapters. I would meet with the TA. I would finalize my understanding, and once I did that, I could remember things, and that was an eye opener. That class actually was a pivot for my experience in school. But I digress. So yeah, I just want you to know today that sometimes when you're having difficulty with a statistics course, it's not you, it might be the way the course is set up. Maybe the course is not designed to cater to how you are thinking about things. Maybe you process things a little bit differently. Maybe it takes you a little bit longer. Maybe it's the way it's said. So you have to kind of like help yourself along the way. And I'm not advocating for you to get help necessarily. Maybe it's just a matter of you reorganizing the way you're studying for these classes. This is a little thought here. You know, People who are in doctoral programs are very smart. That's why they're in there. They're in there because they're intelligent. So not all of you need to come to a tutor. Some of you need to just organize yourself. You know what I mean? So there's some quick commentary for a Tuesday. I hope you have a good week. I'll probably be on here again to say some more stuff later on in the week. Have a lovely day.